So guys, today back from a video on the channel. Today we're here for the Newcastle United versus Crystal Palace preview. Premier League football is finally back, and this international break has felt longer than ever. It really has been. It's felt like months since Newcastle United have last played football. I haven't uploaded anything on the channel, I've just been chilling, boys, but we are back and booming for a lot of videos coming out on the channel. Big one on Saturday. We've got a big week ahead, big couple of weeks for Newcastle United. Let's see what we can do. Make sure to leave a like, boys, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already yet. Wouldn't know if you could do so. Anyways, let's get the preview now. We'll start off by looking at Crystal Palace. So then, Crystal Palace, very good start to the season. They've impressed a lot of teams massively so far this season, I think so. I think they've done really well. Looking at the table, Newcastle 8th, Crystal Palace 9th. We're only 1 point above them. A lot better goal difference, but they've got the best defence in the league, well, second best by Manchester City. Really good. They've kept a lot of clean sheets so far this season, and they have just looked very good. Obviously, under Roy Hodgson, you were expecting Crystal Palace to not fall, but like they went with someone who they knew. Do you know what I mean? And they didn't try something new and whatnot. But since Roy Hodgson came in after Patrick Vieira got sacked, he's done a fine job, you could say. Let's go through their last couple of games now. So, well, you know what, we'll go from the start of the season and see how good they've actually done. So, start off the season, 1-0 win against Sheffield United, a defeat to Arsenal, and then a draw against Brentford. Probably what you'd expect. Then beaten Wolves, they got beat Aston Villa, but then drew to Fulham, beat Manchester United away, and drew to Nottingham Forest at home, which isn't a bad run, and they've got a quite easy run when you think about it after these next couple of games. So they've got Newcastle and then Tottenham, which are two tough games. But after that, Burnley, Everton, Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth. It's a game where Crystal Palace against us could probably afford to lose 3 points, but if they want to be going so far in the league so far this season, they want to be pushing it, don't they? How about their squad this season? Edouard, he's done very well this season. 4 goals. Even Mateta, 3 assists. He's done well this season, but they have picked up a couple of injuries so far this season. But obviously, as we all know, the main man at the minute for Crystal Palace is Anderson. He's looking very good at the minute. But having a look at their injury list for Crystal Palace, Dean Henderson out, Eze out, which is massive, so he'll not play. Jefferson Lerma out, Elise could still be out. They've got injuries and still winning games, beating Manchester United and whatnot. Very good. If you look at their team on paper that played their last Premier League game against Nottingham Forest, Johnson and Gould, Nathaniel Clyde, Anderson, Gray and Mitchell. That's what we're going to have to be a bit careful for their defence. Normally when we play Crystal Palace at home, it normally is a 1-0 win or not much goals in it. Last season we played Crystal Palace home, away and in the cup, and we drew 0-0 every game. So if any neutrals are watching this game, if you've got a prediction, it might be a 0-0. But in the midfield, where they are a bit stacked, they've got Ayew, Slupp, who I think came off injured, Will Hughes, Riedeveld, Edouard's been playing on the left hand side, and then Mateta up top. It's a good team, it's a canny team, but on paper it doesn't look great. Obviously they have got some of their big boys out, Eze, Elise, both have moved away from Crystal Palace, both stuck there and both done very well last season and so far this season when they have played some football. But overall, as we all know, Crystal Palace under Roy Hodgson were a bit of a, before he left, and obviously it was his last game and whatnot, it was nice, he kept them up and whatnot, and obviously they wanted something new in Patrick Vieira. And under Patrick Vieira they looked very good at times, but so it's better to go with what you know. Do you know what I mean? And it's certainly working, absolutely, with the injuries that they've got as well. Even looking at their bench, a lot of young players, like a lot. Like, the only players who are actually not on their bench is Rob Holding and Tompkins. Apart from that, the rest of them are youngsters, like very young players. But they've had a good start to the season. 7 goals only scored, but 7 conceded. I think with the way Newcastle are defending at the minute, especially St James's Park, it'll take a lot for Crystal Palace to come to St James's Park and even score 2 goals, never mind 1. It'll be a tough one to call. It will be for as if a Palace fan going to this game, you've got to just hope that the defence can be resilient enough to stay put of this Newcastle United attack. But will changes be made at Newcastle United? Obviously we've got that Champions League game against Borussia Dortmund in the week. Let's speak about the two and then. So then, Newcastle United, before I start off the video, I was going to make a separate video, but I'm going to mention it now. Sandro Tonali, shit, what's happened? It is most likely will not be in the squad, could potentially be getting a ban from football. If I don't want to mention it too much because it will be getting the sporting point of the game unless Newcastle United make a club statement and make it known to fans what actually is the situation. If he's betting on any sort of sport, football, any sort of activity, he deserves to get banned. And it's shit because he's a good player, he wants to develop in the Premier League. If he's betting at the casino or going to fucking playing a bit of blackjack, yes, you might have a gambling addiction as he's agent said, yeah man, me and the lads who like Kieran Trippier's been at Aspas in the tune. Do you know what I mean? It's yes, I understand if you're betting on football and winning money through deliberately doing stuff, yes, absolutely ban. But if you're going to the casino putting a fucking couple £100 on the fucking blackjack and whatnot, fucking I let that slide, because a lot of players that probably do that just for the crack. It's ridiculous, you know what I mean? But I don't want to speak about too much about that because it's not the speaking point. Obviously, not much news has actually been said about Newcastle at the minute. Obviously, it is international duty. Yes, it is a bit of a break for the team, a bit of a break for the players. But now it's really happened at the club. That's why I couldn't really do a video either, because now it really happened. But apart from the Tonali situation, but I didn't want to release a video and say, well, this and that, when now it's true. When I could go, well, Tonali's going to get banned, and then everyone's got me video going, oh my god, but he actually hasn't. I don't clickbait like that. Now it's really happened at the tune. Now it's really happened. Now it's really been said, and now it's escalated at the minute. Only positive I can say is Anthony Gordon's back for the game, which is brilliant. But I can't really say too much on the team because I've got the predicted team at tomorrow. But I'm so glad the vlogs are going to be back on the channel. Obviously, our last game, 2-2 draw against West Ham, felt ages away, but we could have some big players come back from injury, potentially. Joe Linton, Botman, Joe Willock. I am hoping, so we'll know by towards the end of the week with that situation with injuries and whatnot. You have to wait and see. But if I've got to give a prediction, boys, it is a tough game coming up for Newcastle. Crystal Palace are a team that are very resilient, like to play their football, and they've got a good defence. But I want to go with a 1-0 Newcastle. I think it'll be a bit like the Burnley game, but a bit more intense, where I think Palace will give away a bit more than what Burnley did. But if we can get a 1-0, when even if we can just win the game, it'll be massive. Obviously, going into the Borussia Dortmund game, if we can get a bit of confidence going, that is all we want, and that's the big one, obviously, during the week. That is the end of the preview, boys. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you all in the next one. Predict the team tomorrow, and then we've got the vlog going out on Saturday. See you in the next one, boys. Have a good one.